California's Gold is produced in association with KCET Los Angeles and is seen statewide on California Public Television. This series is endorsed by the California Teachers Association, the California School Boards Association, and the California Library Association. It's one of the most beautiful lakes in Southern California. Located high in the San Bernardino Mountains, about 70 miles east of L.A., Lake Arrowhead, with its beautiful lakeside homes and its crystal blue waters, is a paradise for those who enjoy swimming, boating, or fishing. And as we discovered, it's also a place with a fascinating history, some of which is hidden beneath its waters. Well, gentlemen, here we are on a beautiful day out on Lake Arrowhead. And you know, we're here to do a story on the history of Lake Arrowhead. And I guess the first thing we need to clear up is that this lake is not a natural lake.
That's correct. It is not a natural lake. It's a man-made lake.
And what's the story behind that?
Well, back in 1891, the Procter & Gamble Company purchased the land around Lake Arrowhead and the water rights through appropriation to build a irrigation water supply, which subsequently turned into a power generation project also. That started in 1891, 1892. The dam itself wasn't completed until about 1922. There were a lot of things that happened in between the start of the project and the end of it that slowed everything down, including water rights battles.
Yeah, those are new to California, yeah.
Yes, and construction difficulties. For instance, this was supposed to be a rock and earth-fill dam, and they discovered soon after they started it that there wasn't good enough rock to do it, so it turned in then to a hydraulic fill dam, earth-fill dam, with a concrete core.
Now, Stan, you're a local historian here. You've written books on this subject. I've seen some of your old pictures. When they started, there was no water here at all. This was a beautiful mountain valley, wasn't it?
That's correct. It was called Little Bear Valley because of Big Bear Valley. They called it Little Bear Valley. The stream that ran through here was called Little Bear Stream. And there were several sawmills in here. There was the Talmadge Mill, the La Prairie Mill. They grew wheat and barley, and they shipped lumber down to San Bernardino and other points.
And the construction of the dam, they used lots of these big, well, I've seen pictures of locomotives,
yes,
of big shovels, all kinds of big equipment
yes.
was used.
Yes, Bright and Drew had a very large steam shovel, which was back towards the dam here where we just left. And there were steam engines around the various points in the lake where they were building the tunnels.
And those steam engines, this is another little-known fact about Lake Arrowhead, some of them were still down there.
I figure there are probably 4 down there still.
That they just left when the water started coming in?
They were left there, yes.
All right, that was 1891 when it started. It actually got finished in 1922, and all of that time, the whole purpose behind this lake was not what we see over here now. Hey! The water skiing, or the fishing, or the recreation. It was purely to provide water down, down the mountain.
Correct. That is right. First of all, the water was going to go to the San Bernardino Valley through a network of tunnels. And in the water rights litigation that occurred in about the mid-teens, around 1914, there was a court decision that said that no, you cannot transport water out of one basin into another basin for agricultural purposes. That essentially put a stop to the Lake Arrowhead irrigation project. And then after there were some changes of ownership, the new owner in 1922 decided to make this a resort community. That's what we see today.
That's when this present-day chapter of Lake Arrowhead started. In other words, cutting through all of this water rights stuff, the bottom line was it never really worked as an irrigation project, did it? They just never did really get much water out of here like they they were planning on doing.
That's correct. They did not. What you're looking at right now is the original outlet tower, which was installed in about 1908 to control the release of water from Lake Arrowhead for irrigation and subsequently power generation purposes.
Now, what is this used for now?
And it essentially is not used now at all. It's a marvelous edifice. It sticks up above the level of Lake Arrowhead about 43 feet, and down at the bottom, the depth of water is about 145 feet.
So that thing goes 145 feet down.
Yes.
It was built in
1908.
It's one thing to see this tower coming up out of the water. It's another to go under the water. And that's what we're going to do right now.
That's right.
All right, we're here. How do we get off this thing? Just jump off?
Like this.
We're off. We have landed. We're heading for the first tunnel, right?
For the elevator shaft that goes down into tunnel number 1.
All right.
Which is really an extension from that tower out there.
All the way here.
All the way to where we are right now.
All right, we're ready. We're hiking up the hill. Boy. Oh, here it is. The locked door. Oh gosh, I feel like I'm going into the catacombs down here.
That's what it is. Wait till you see it.
All right. Boy, that's a rusty old door. Let's go in. Come on, fellas. Oh gosh.
Don't need your sunglasses.
Oh my gosh, take off the sunglasses. Now this looks like it's about 100 years old.
It's about 80 years old, actually.
What is this thing?
This is a hydraulic pump that was used at one time to hydraulically operate the valves down below that you're going to see.
So this isn't where we're going.
No, we're going down 185 feet in this elevator shaft.
Look at, wait a minute. We're going down 185 feet.
Yes, sir.
In that.
Yes, sir.
Which looks like it's been here for 100 years.
About 80 years.
And
but about 10 years ago, it was completely rehabilitated and repaired.
Why are you smiling?
Because I know your fear.
And it's also inspected every year by the state of California.
All right, so this is an operating elevator.
It is.
And here's the guy here. We haven't really officially met. Your name is?
Patrick Preciado.
And your job here is maintenance.
Yes, correct. That's it.
So we're all going to get in this little elevator that you are maintaining well.
Well, I might mention that the last time the guys went down, they had to exit the tunnel by foot.
Because the elevator
wouldn't come back up. I'm just kidding, Bill.
Whoa, this is a tight fit.
These are all the hydraulic lines.
All right, we're in here. We close this door.
Yes, that's it until it snaps all the way. You got it. Hear that?
And can we go down? Here we go.
Here we go.
We'll see y'all in a minute, I hope. Oh my gosh, it's a little shaky in here.
Yes, it is.
Now we've figured out a way to open up the gate and get a feel of what it's like down here. So I'm gonna hold this like here, and you're gonna
reach over and open up the gate.
Oh my, look at this. Oh Louie, look down. Oh gosh. Oh my gosh. This is amazing.
Yeah.
This is
The first time I came down this, the creaking and the shaking.
Yeah, because it is creaking a little bit.
Yeah, and you think how old it is, and it was very nerve-wracking. We always ask each other what kind of flowers we want.
Now, this ladder we're looking at, would they have used that if the elevator broke or before the elevator was installed?
Yes, that's what it's there for. It was put in for a safety feature.
Yeah.
The state of California requires it. And,
well, when it was built, it probably was the only way to get down here, wasn't it?
Yes, that was the only way. They didn't have the elevator. They were just using pulleys to bring some of the debris up and things like that.
But this is the original wall, the original shaft. Everything is exactly the same as it was when it was built.
Yes. It is.
Now are we, oh gosh, we still got, we're getting close to the bottom.
Now it should stop by itself.
Oh boy. Oh gosh. Oh!
Oh, there we are. We're done.
You sure?
Yes. The rest of the way is a climb down the ladder.
So we got to climb down.
Yeah,
too.
yes.
This is an amazing place. Look at this old stuff.
Yeah. It's these are the main valves that we control the water coming from the lake if we wanted to empty the lake or drain some water off the lake.
And this tunnel goes way back in there.
All the way back to that tower that well, the tunnel doesn't, but piping does.
And this, all of this old stuff here, literally looks like it's been here since it was built. The day it was built.
It has. Very few things have been modernized. Really, it's just been kept up and maintained.
Well, we've got a bunch of people still up on top because we can only put 3 in the elevator at a time.
That's right.
So what I guess we ought to do now is take a break, send the elevator up and down a couple of times, because I know those guys have a lot to say about this stuff. They're like
sure
kids
do.
in candy shop when they come down here, aren't they?
Those guys up there are the ones that have known about this a lot longer than I have.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, let's send it up. Send it up the elevator. Coming up. All right. We got everybody down here, or most everybody down here. And Ralph, what are we? Well, here's a huge piece of equipment right here.
That's a 24-inch diameter gate valve, hydraulically operated, that was removed in 1922 or 20 when they installed the elevator. As a matter of fact, it used to be located right over there, but one of the support columns for the elevator would have landed right on top of it, so they had to remove this. That piece of equipment right there is about 10,000 pounds in weight. Now you figure out, how did they ever get it down here to begin with? We're not absolutely sure, although there are 2 possibilities. One, when they were constructing the tunnel, they actually moved the equipment in through the tunnel. Most of the piping came in that way. The valves may have been lowered down this elevator shaft when there was no elevator on an end of a line from a steam shovel.
Boy, this is heavy, heavy
but
stuff.
that's why they never moved it out either.
So it's here,
took it out,
here for the duration.
It's here forever.
Now what's this?
This was part of a Pelton wheel, which was a piece of power generation equipment that was installed down here in the 20s and actually operated to generate power for some houses that were located up on the ground above us, about 200 feet above us or so.
So for a short period of time, they were generating electricity from down
in the
here.
early 20s, for the North Shore Estates area, yes, it generated power.
Now
it's been removed.
There's the tunnel.
This is the tunnel right here.
Now how long is this tunnel?
From where we're standing to the end of the tunnel, it's about 3,800 feet.
Wow.
3/4 of a mile.
And how deep is that water? I don't know how it
Right in
bunches
this
them.
area that we're looking at, there's a stilling basin that's about 3 feet deep. And that stilling basin was intended to dissipate some of the energy from the water coming out of these 2 24-inch cast iron pipes when they would release water.
So there was a lot of water. I mean, it was a forceful
Oh,
water.
yes, it would roar down here. I've been down here when just one valve was partially opened, and it would roar, and you could feel the air being sucked down the elevator shaft because of the water leaving out through the tunnel.
Now, how adventuresome do you feel today? Do you
Very.
want to get down in there?
I do not want to get wet, no.
Because we would very quickly be in water up to our waist.
Yes, you would be. But that's just for a short distance, then the bottom of the tunnel comes back up. It's a stilling basin.
Yeah.
So the water from these 2 24-inch cast iron pipes would dissipate some of the energy.
Now, I'm looking over here. It says tunnel rats. Yeah. What's that all about, Patrick?
It's kids used to come in here a lot and come through the tunnel, and it was a long tunnel and dark, and so it was a kids thing, you know. We conquered the tunnel, and they put their graffiti in here. We've stopped that since then, and it's after they will break in and very expensive repairs here. But we've left it just kind of as a memorabilia thing.
Well, it's part of history.
That's right.
And if Louis and I were even in the least bit into graffiti, we'd put our names down there right now because we're tunnel rats.
There you go. We should have left that paint can down here. Okay.
Now, are we under the lake right now?
No, actually, you're just on the edge of the lake, and if you go down through here, then you'll be under the lake.
So we can actually get underneath the lake?
Yeah, on the other side of these valves is where you'd be under the lake.
Well, let's get underwater.
Okay.
Oh, look at this.
You want to lead the way, or you want me?
I think I'm going to let you lead the way. Boy, this is something getting back here. This equipment is all old stuff.
Yes, it is. 95 years old.
And I tell you, it's all big and heavy and, oh gosh, look at these steps.
Be careful, yeah.
These steps are 100 years old.
Yes, they probably
And they're made out of wood.
Watch your step right on this piece here. There you go.
Oh my gosh, come on, Ralph.
What you're standing on top of right now,
This piece of wood.
yes, but the wood is right on top of
Oh, here's
one
the
of
pipe.
24-inch diameter cast iron pipes.
Look at
And
this,
Patrick
Louis, right
and
down
I
here.
Are standing on the other one.
There's one pipe and there's the other pipe.
Correct.
So these are literally the pipes.
That come back in this direction.
Uh-huh.
And then we have two valves here.
And the big wheel, and then look down here. Now what's back in there?
There's some piping back in there, including a Venturi meter, which is a device for measuring flow in pipelines, and some other pipeline fittings.
And it's where the lines split too.
And
from the 40-inch line coming from the tower that you saw earlier, it comes in and splits to two 20-inch pipes. These
24.
24, I'm sorry.
Can this thing even close? It's just,
It closes, and
boy, it's hard to move it though.
we've had it bolted.
Really?
Uh-huh.
So you opened it up just for us?
Yes, we did.
It's an adventure just to crawl through that tube to get back in there to look at that piping, believe me.
You know, I feel kind of wimpy on this adventure.
Yeah.
We're not doing as many things as we usually do. But I have absolutely no desire
Yeah.
to do anything but just look and wonder what it would be like.
Yeah.
This looks like something that ought to be in a museum. I mean, these
Yeah.
are wonderful
Yes, they
pieces.
are.
This is like a museum down here.
Yes, it is. This is a worm gear operated valve, and it's not easy to operate, believe me. It takes some real manpower.
So there were guys down in here operating all of this.
From time to time,
when it
yes.
was going on. They would
Yes.
have to open this manually
yes.
and close it manually.
Yes.
Okay, we're back by the tunnel, and this tunnel is going to be, we're not going to go down the tunnel. What are we going to do next?
We're going to go up top and drive around and come back in the other way.
From the other end.
From the other end.
Which is how far down?
3,800 feet.
So we're going to be coming back in from the other direction.
Correct.
And I guess this is as good a time as any. We're standing under this sign that says Tunnel Rat, and you're a tunnel rat too.
I sure am.
To introduce yourself.
I've been here with you every step of the way.
Ah, boy, she's been following us very closely for a reason. Who are you representing?
I represent the Arrowhead Lake Association, who are the homeowners that live around this lake.
This private
And
lake.
this is our property. The Arrowhead Lake Association property
So
is all
you're
this.
down here to make sure that we don't get in any shenanigans down here, right?
That's a good way to put it.
That's exactly right. And the question comes to mind, how many people who live around Lake Arrowhead do you think even know about this place or have ever been down here?
First of all, I think there's several people that know about it. We do talk about it. We have to maintain it, and we talk about it in our budget. However, it's not open to anybody to come down here. This is quite an adventure. It's old. It's not something that's open to Arrowhead Woods people to come down. So this show is going to be wonderful because they're going to be able to see it.
Yeah, we had to sign
Marvelous.
our life away on liability and insurance and everything else, you know, to just get down here. You work down here. How many times do you ever run into anybody else when you're down here?
I never have.
All right, as much as we like it down here, we're going to leave, and go down to the other end of this tunnel. Let's take one more look down here at this wonderful hidden place under Lake Arrowhead. Okay, we have driven a couple of miles from the lake, and Patrick, where are we right now?
We're at 3,500, is it, Ralph?
3,800.
3,800.
Oh my gosh, look at this. There's water coming out here.
Yep.
Another one of these big steel doors. Oh my. Hello? Hello? Oh, this is the kind of stuff I love. All right, you all go on in. We'll stand out here for a minute.
Don't close the door.
Oh gosh, look at this.
Close the door behind, okay?
Hello?
This tunnel that we're in right now, which is concrete lined, is about 6 foot 6 inches high, about 6 foot wide, and about 5 foot wide at the bottom. And up here we're approaching now the rock portion of the tunnel, that part of the tunnel that is not concrete lined.
Now, all of this was dug out by hand.
We have every reason to believe that it was, yes. Now we're into the rock section, and can you imagine 100 years ago people getting in here and excavating this tunnel in rock as we see it right now? Wow. In addition to that, what did they do with the rock spoil? Where did it go? I've never found a pile of it.
There are no tailings anywhere.
No tailings anyplace. So
now, how far back does this go? I mean, well,
now there'll be
3,000 feet.
another concrete lined section, and then it's all rock.
Can we walk back? Come on, let's go. I'm getting adventuresome now. This is the kind of stuff I like.
I think the mosquitoes were back there and they're not here now. So.
Yeah, because we ran into a swarm of mosquitoes. Now, you were telling me, Patrick, that this is actually still used. This is still inspected by the state.
Yes, correct. Once a year we open the valves and let a little bit of water out. Sometimes we talk out of it when we have a drought situation, but this tunnel is still used. It's to empty the lake, drain the lake in the event of an earthquake and a dam failure or something like that.
So this could actually still function if it had to.
Oh, most definitely.
It's been tested.
Yes, it has.
And the water would come right through that room we were in when we went down the elevator.
Exactly. And then straight down this tunnel to the exit.
Well, this is... Boy, this is...
Not too much further. We'll see the rock part here.
Yeah, because, I mean, it's fun, but it gets old real fast, doesn't it?
When the guys got stranded down here one time, and it was my first time up here by myself, it was a little spooky because you didn't know what you were going to run into. But
is there anything living back up in here? Any animals?
Never found anything. Never found any animal life back in here.
Oh my gosh! Look at this. Oh look! Now what is this?
This is probably some old flooring that was washed down at one time when the valves were open. It just got washed down.
And here's the natural rock.
Old timbers. Here's the natural rock. The tunnel is only lined with concrete where the rock was unstable. But now we're into a stable section. You see there's no concrete lining, and it was just hacked out of this fractured granite bedrock.
My name is Jordan Price. I study history at Northern Arizona University.
And you're a local here.
Yes, I went to Rim High School.
And how many of your local friends who were born and raised here do you think have ever been back in here?
I'm sure maybe I've been a couple of feet in, but no one has been in this far.
Yeah, nobody really knows about this.
No, it's really good that they don't, so it's not vandalized any further, but yeah, nobody really knows much about the tunnel system or any general Lake Arrowhead history.
Is this the first time you've ever been down here?
Yes, it's the first time I've been inside. I've been to the outside. I've been to the portal, but I've never been inside.
Yeah,
and
Stan, you brought him along because you're a history teacher.
I bring history students down here if they're interested.
Boy. Well, I'll tell you what, let's stop right here. This is a great place to stop. Let's all pose right here. Come on, fellas, let's all get down here for a group picture. because this has been, I thought it was fun going down the elevator. This is even more fun.
Yeah, it is fun. I haven't been here in a while.
This is great.
Yes, it is. Spectacular.
And you do think of the guys who did this 100 years ago.
Yes.
Okay, it's time to say goodbye. We're back out on the lake, and I don't think we could have had a more beautiful day to be out on the lake or to be under the lake than we've had today. Thank you very much. Enjoyed the tour.
Thank you.
Enjoyed the tour.
Thank you.
Enjoyed the tour.
Thank you very much.
Enjoyed the
Lake
tour.
Arrowhead. Yes.
We got to thank Terry back here, give us a wave, Terry. Terry opened up the door to let us down underneath the lake, and he's been driving this barge around all day with us on board. This has been an absolutely wonderful day. You have a presentation for us at this moment.
I have a presentation for you, Huel. I want to give you and Louie a certificate to denote that you are now a member of the Minus 185 Club on Lake Arrowhead, and that means you've been down the tunnel.
Very few people get this.
Oh, very few people get this. So I'm so happy to give this to you.
We will frame this. It'll be on our wall. And what's interesting about this wonderful lake that started as a water project to provide water for San Bernardino for their citrus groves back in the latter part of the 1800s, that didn't work. The electrical part of it didn't work when they wanted to produce electricity. But boy, this works. This is about as wonderful as it gets. Now, this is a private lake, but people can come up here and visit Arrowhead Village.
That's correct. They can come in and visit the village for the day. They can take a tour boat that gives you a tour of the whole lake, but it is a private lake for the homeowners in this area only.
Well,
Tour boat right there.
there's a tour boat coming. Oh, there it is right now. That's what all of us will be on when we come up here to look at it, because, under normal situations, we wouldn't be out here like this.
That's correct.
We don't have enough money in the bank. But it's a beautiful lake. And what is so interesting about what we've seen today is that very few people, even who live around this lake and know about the history of the lake, have ever been where all of us have been today. And we're standing looking at the top of the lake now, but what we have discovered on this particular adventure is that when you go under Lake Arrowhead, underneath the lake, is a fine example of California's gold. Goodbye, everybody. We've had a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Well, hello, everybody. I'm Huel Hauser, and I sure hope you enjoyed this adventure. If you'd like to see it again or share it with your family or friends, all you have to do is call 1-800-266-5727, and we'll be glad to send it to you right away.